Performed in the USA and in Europe. How do the concerts in the United States differ from the ones in Europe?
Okay, I'm going to say that the USA is very fickle, which is probably not a good word to translate, but very likes one thing one day and likes something else the next day. And it's very, we just did a short tour in the U.S. and it was actually very good, but we went to specific places that we thought would be very good and then came right back to New York where we did well, and because that's our hometown. But in Europe, we find that we're pleasantly surprised almost everywhere. Like most places that we play, you can count on a good show more often than not, whereas the USA is kind of, it's like, and things change in 2-3 years. Like 3 years ago, people just went out, and like in Cleveland, Ohio, people went out to see bands for, you know, whatever, and now there's like no more music scene out there, like for underground music and stuff. It's not really that much, so it's kind of strange. Like it's you know, I definitely like the way bands are treated more over here, but we definitely do have some good places to play in the States. Is that diplomatic enough?
You have very specific music. It's a bit unusual. Where do you get the ideas for the songs? Which bands do you like to listen?
I will say I joined the band about a year after its inception, and there was another bass player for a year, and I had heard a few songs they had recorded with a friend of ours, a mutual friend, and it reminded me of the Jesus Lizard. So I'm not, at the time I wasn't really a bass player, but when they asked me to play bass, I approached it like that. I think it's gone beyond that then, but originally I definitely approached everything I wrote as like sort of like a Jesus Lizard, Chicago, mid-90s kind of, early 90s kind of, you know, Amphetamine Reptile, Homestead Records, touch and go kind of feeling to things. I think it's gone beyond that, and I think it's its own thing now, definitely, but that's how I approached it, definitely. That's what I heard out of them and made me want to be part of the band.
Okay, and another thing I noticed when I looked at where you performed in Europe is that you visited Köln and Frankfurt and Prague and Paris, and then you came to Velenje, which is a very, very, very small city comparing to all the capitals of Europe. How do you find it? Did you even see it?
You should ask. Brendan just joined us.
Well, we wanted to just come back to Slovenia to redeem ourselves, mainly, just because we had come here 2 years ago, I think, to play in Ljubljana, and Julie had lost her voice on tour, and it was the only show we ever canceled, so we all kind of felt guilty about that. And so when we were booking this tour, and our booking agent was, you know, getting us shows in all different countries and towns, we were just like, we have to play Slovenia, we have to go back and play Slovenia because we totally blew it last time. And so luckily this festival was happening right as we were coming through, and I was actually shocked when we got here that it was such a small town in the middle of the mountains and that so many people came to see music here.